this morning on the show, we're going to be talking about ideal space. I have Tim Njiru in studio. He has a new show, a fantastic new show, and he's going to be telling you how you can turn your living space into an ideal space. Simple tips. And I know just hearing me talk, you're thinking, oh my God, this sounds expensive, but it doesn't. He's actually going to give you a tip that you can use in your home just to turn it from something which is boring and into something which has a little bit of pizzazz. So good morning, Tim.
Good morning, Tim.
Welcome to the I was going to say welcome to the Ideal Space. Welcome to the Morning Express. Oh my God.
Well, the Morning Express. Thank you very much for hosting me. This is it actually feels good to be here.
Yeah.
This is an ideal studio.
Oh, thank you very much. They do try.
Well, they do a very, very good job. I mean, incorporating the right colors, incorporating the right seats, the right angles, right everything, so we can keep the conversation going. How have you been?
I'm fine, thank you. How have you been? I know that you got hitched.
Yes, I got hitched like 3 weeks ago. Enjoyed the honeymoon. Now I'm back to the real business, and the real business is creating a life that is fulfilling. Well, that's on a personal level, and finding that balance is what it entails. Yeah.
Okay, I know earlier on we were joking just off studio, and you were like, the honeymoon was too short. It was like, Tim, what are you doing here? You should still be on your honeymoon.
Well, it had to be cut short. 2.5 weeks was too little time. I mean, life's a honeymoon. I believe every single day for me is a honeymoon, and she knows this for a fact. My wife is a big supporter. She's been one of my greatest supporters, and especially with this new project, the Ideal Space. Having been being a designer, and also she's a fashion designer, and she's also an interior designer, but mostly on the interior designer, focusing on property. So she and I had to sit down and think of something out of the ordinary, and hence the Ideal Space.
Okay, so up to the Ideal Space, because a lot of us grew up watching you on TV. So I'm just trying to connect how Tim Njiru fell into loving design and everything that comes with it.
Everything is an art. If you go back 12 years when I was on Club Kiboko, there was this segment.
How crazy is that?
I know.
And here we are.
Oh, look at me, all so grown up. The Looking Man segment was everything to do with art, and that's how I fell in love with the arts. I came to love how art is expressed. Then art scene came into being. I now hear that you've got someone new. Your production manager now is my former co-host, something like that. Did I let the cat out of the bag?
Yes, you did.
Yes. So then art scene came into play, and that's how I've appreciated the arts over so many days. Yes.
Okay, I'm one of those.
Design.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm sure for a lot of people, they'll be like, when it comes to interior design, you'll go to a restaurant or you'll go out to an event and you'll be like, wow, this looks nice, but I could never do this in my home. Is that a good mindset?
It's not. Let me not say it's not a very good mindset. Let me put it this way. It's a question of how exposed are you? Did I answer your question properly?
Yes, you did.
Maybe. Yeah. It's everything. Yes, it's a mindset issue. Yes, but at the same time, it's how you understand and appreciate the spaces that you live, work, and play in. Here's the thing. In life, you're supposed to do the right things at the right time with the right people, but can you do it in the right space? Yeah. We find ourselves doing all sorts of things with everyone that we're supposed to be doing with, but the environment is not conducive. So how ideal is your space? And that's a question we keep asking every single week on the show. Have you watched the show?
I have watched the show. I love the show.
What's your take?
I think that personally, I was one of those people that would be. I'm not into design. I'm not a homey kind of girl who wants to put the pink chairs. No. But then I realized that I have to make sure that I spend a lot of time at home. So my space, I call it my space.
Your space
has to suit my personality and my mood.
And that's very true.
So I actually took an interest, and I'd add a little thing here. You go out shopping in town, you buy a pillowcase, you come look at it and you're like, I need 4 more. So small things like those.
So do you end up overcrowding your house with pillows?
No. Okay, I have a lot of pillows, I will confess. But you see, the lesson here is, now if I look at it, it's my space. Like I see myself in it.
And you see your personality coming out of that.
Exactly.
So if I walk into your house, I don't expect to see all Rasta colors, since you've mentioned pink being incorporated in your space, right? Will I get to see leopard prints?
Actually, there's a lot of brown now that we are talking about it.
A lot of browns.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, when I look at how you're dressed, I'm able to tell how your space is. I can tell how your space is, because your personality is reflected in the spaces you either live, work, and play in. So don't be surprised if you see a shabbily dressed person telling you, oh, that, hey, yeah, oh, yeah, I have a very, very nice space. No, no, no.
Okay.
It's just what's reflected out there.
And still on the show, because we have a couple of clips from the show which are actually running on screen right now. And I'm looking at that. If for you to turn your living space into an ideal space, and specifically, okay, right now there's a clip on the bathroom.
The bathroom, very, very interesting clip running right there. Most of the houses that today have these rugs in
all Kenyan homes.
All Kenyan
have
homes.
The rugs.
Did you know that that's a health hazard?
Is it?
It is, because when you're in the bathroom, so many things happen there. It's either you're taking a short call or in the showers, and all these little particles of water keep accumulating on the rug, and with time your rug ends up bringing out that odor in the room. So rugs, when you look at that clip, most Kenyan houses have rugs, and rugs are not supposed to be in the bathroom area. They were meant for countries that are very, very cold, and Kenya, being where it is, that's a no-no.
So a rug is not supposed to be used like when you're out of the shower, step on it so that you can drip on it and not drip on the floor. You know, that's the psyche that a lot of people have. That's
a psyche. Why don't you get a towel, which you can use very, very quickly, hang it outside, and then bring it back when you're using the bathroom.
Or maybe just to meet everyone in the middle.
Yeah. And then there's that clip running right now of that's a no-no. When you look at that clip, it's a child's room that's got this curtain boxes. If you walk into most Kenyan houses, curtain boxes are full of stuff.
Souvenirs,
photos.
Yeah,
teddy bears. That's a no-no. That's a big no-no. Curtain boxes are supposed to be left plain. Why? Because it plays a frame. It's like a picture frame to the window. So you're supposed to leave it bare. So a lot of us tend to throw in all sorts of things on the curtain boxes, thinking that you're making your space an ideal, but yet you're just cramming your style, you're cramping it up, you're making it look claustrophobic, for lack of a better term.
Okay, and on that, we saw the children's room.
Yes.
And for a lot of people, probably they'll assume that I don't have money to turn my kids' room into what I see on TV or what I see in the movies. But are there just simple tips that a parent can use to enthuse that level of fun, color?
Well, you've asked a very, very interesting question. A child's impressionable age is from around 8 months to 6 years. That's a time when they're starting to pick up few things here and there. Now, incorporating colors, incorporating shapes that that can develop the child's, say, IQ or even EQ plays. I mean, it's very, 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 very emotional quotient. Yes, EQ being the emotional quotient. Looking at colors and shapes, it's very, very important to keep colors that are able to shape this child's character. So toys play a major role. Having developmental toys is one thing. Like, for example, I saw in that video they had one of your VT people can take that video back. There's this rubbery carpet. That's a developmental toy, and it has numbers. So for a child, it's a play area, and at the same time it's a place where she can be able to pick numbers, pick colors, pick shapes. So yes, developmental toys are very, very important in creating an ideal space for a child.
You don't want to paint your son's room pink.
No, you don't want to paint the son's room pink.
That needs to be said very loud and clear.
No.
And you don't give your son the Barbie blankets.
No.
You know, it has to suit the child's gender, the child's personality.
Yes.
Yeah.
Girly toys for the girls. Boy stuff for the boys.
Okay.
That's
so,
it.
Tim, so far we've touched on two no-nos. The first one was the bathroom rags.
Bathroom rags.
Now, I'm representing all the Kenyans here.
I'm listening.
We have to find a middle ground team. You know, you just can't come on TV and tell people, throw out all those rugs. And you know, they cost quite an amount, right?
Well.
And I've seen right now, if you walk in supermarkets, you'll see the rubber ones. Are those ones more ideal?
That's an ideal one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an ideal one because, yes, it prevents you from slipping off when you're showering. I mean, it gets very wet when you're taking a shower.
Yes, it does.
And then number two, it doesn't accumulate any moisture.
And bacteria.
And the smell. You can imagine this, what is it called? The rugs. They accumulate a lot of moisture, and with time, you're harboring a lot of bacteria, and that can be hazardous.
Okay, and probably they can start small. The first thing would be probably, if you're not ready to let go, make sure every morning when you're done with it, put it out to dry, then put it back in.
Put it out to dry.
Yeah.
Put it back in when you need it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Secondly, on the curtain boxes, because people they're attached to those things on those curtain boxes.
Yes.
So we also have to give them a solution. You can't just come here and tell them, you know what, get everything off. Some people would say that I put things on there because I clean. I constantly clean.
Yes.
Is that a middle ground?
No.
Really?
That's a rule of the thumb. No. Just keep it plain. Maybe what you can do is paint it, leave it plain, because it's a nice picture frame. Imagine framing this the way it is, as beautiful as it looks, just framing this headline on a simple frame. Wouldn't that be very, very beautiful?
So picture frames work, but putting things on the curtain box.
No. I'm saying the curtain box acts as a picture frame to the window.
That is the function of the curtain box.
That's the function of the curtain box. It plays both the functional and the aesthetic.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are the tips that we keep sharing with our viewer on the ideal space.
And for the ladies, probably now the middle ground would be, you know, when you buy curtains, they come with that specific bit of the curtain that goes on the curtain box. Is that allowed? That has to be allowed.
What's that? Are you talking about the tie backs or what?
Yes, the tie backs. Forget the whole curtain. I know it has a word, but I just can't seem to remember it right now. But there's something that comes when you buy a curtain set that is supposed to now cover up the curtain box. So it matches your curtain.
That's okay. I mean, that's a way of accessorizing the curtain box. Because, I mean, it plays a very, very fancy it plays a very fancy frame to your window, so you're able to look outside. You know, you're looking at moving pictures through your window, and you've got this very fancy frame. So yeah, that's a yes, definitely.
Okay. Then we all know that not everybody lives in a mansion.
Not everybody lives in a castle too.
In a castle too, exactly.
Yes.
And just to start small, and probably just to make this conversation a bit more relatable, I would ask you, let's start from the bed-sitter level.
Bed-sitter. That's coming on this week's show, by the way.
How can you make that space ideal? Because it's not a lot of space, but I've visited people who live in bed-sitters, and you'd be like, wow, it actually looks very nice.
Here's an interesting thing about bed-sitters, and that's where I mean, the rubber meets the road in as far as designing is concerned. Speaking to designers, I've learned that you don't have to do what everybody does. Yeah, like we said it earlier, your personality is reflected in the space that you either live, work, and play in. And for a bed sitter, there are many things you can incorporate, especially things to do with size. You don't expect to have a bed sitter with a giant L-shaped
6x6 bed
with giant seats such as this in a bed sitter. I mean, that's a no-go zone.
Yeah.
Probably incorporate cushions. Very minimalistic kind of furniture, minimalistic kind of, you don't expect to put a 52-inch screen in a bed sitter.
And you know that has been done. I'm sure there's someone who lives in a bed sitter and has a 52-inch screen.
Yes, there are people who live in bed sitters and they have ginormous pieces of furniture, and that's a no-go zone. I mean, have something as little as this. Yeah, I mean, it plays both functional and aesthetic. Look at it. I mean, it's colors. I mean, the way it's been incorporated. You've got your black and your silver, and that's very, very simple. It's nice and classy. Yeah. Also the cutlery that you use. You don't expect to use, you know, Victorian sort of cutlery in a very tiny space.
Okay, basically what I'm hearing is that less is always more.
Less is more. In design, less is always more.
Okay.
Yes. And then pick the colors that are not too overbearing to the eye. You know, a bed sitter is just one room, so you can pick one wall, make it your feature wall. You get me when I talk about a feature wall. For example, this can play as a feature wall. Very simple. The most dominant color here is your peach, and that's sky blue. Yeah. Keep it simple, then the rest leave them plain. I mean, that then becomes sort of like a shrine. A feature wall is more or less like a shrine. So small spaces, you don't need to put overbearing colors. Have one feature wall and that's it. You don't have to put so many designs on your feature wall. You can either use paint, paste, or a wallpaper. Very simple. Another thing you can incorporate in a bed sitter would be have a bed that has a lot of space underneath.
At the bottom. And about that, because you'll find a lot of the times, Kenyans, we tend to custom make a lot of things.
Right.
And I found it so interesting. Like, there's a point where I wanted to buy a bed.
Right.
And I was advised, go online, pick a design, take it to the carpenter.
Okay.
And the guy surprised me. Like, it was pretty good.
He did a very good job.
He did quite a good job.
Well done.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and on that, because if you look all around us, there are all these beautiful spaces, from hotels to restaurants, and even the internet.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Is that something that is that a solid way of advising guys if you are clueless about what you like? You know, research.
Research, yes. You can do research in various ways. Either go to the internet, if you have, I mean, everyone's now on Facebook, everyone's on Twitter, everyone's on the World Wide Web. But I find the internet a bit limiting, because when you go into the internet, they won't tell you what sort of paint was used, say, on a table such as this, a coffee table such as this. It could be a chrome finish, or it could be silver. What I advise people to do in my interactions, my many interactions with designers, is go out there, visit spaces. Yeah, the ideal space. As a TV show, we have this first segment of the show where we bring the grand property of the week, and we walk into hotel rooms, we walk into resorts, and all these resorts have ideas that you can incorporate in the spaces that you live, work, and play in. It could be a boardroom, it could be a conference room, it could be that part of the presidential lounge, and you want to bring it into your living space. My advice is very simple. Get up, travel. Go walk into these hotel rooms, spend a night. I mean, it's going to cost you, yes.
Of course, it's going to cost.
I mean, education comes at a cost. So walk in, live in these hotel rooms, see what you can incorporate from say a hotel in Kampala, or a hotel in Dar es Salaam, or a hotel in Nairobi. Walk into these hotels, pick ideas.
So you're giving us the license to borrow.
I'm giving you the license to borrow, yes. Yeah. So yes, the internet is one. Like I said, it's very limiting, but it's good to see, feel, and touch things that you can incorporate. I mean, from the internet, this looks like a cloth. I mean, from the viewer who's watching this looks like, yes, it's a cloth. But what type of cloth is it? Is it a Hessian cloth? Is it a 100% cotton? Is it suede? Is it leather?
No, it's not leather. Definitely not leather. I can tell them that.
It's definitely not leather. But the internet won't be very, very precise and to the point when it comes to the materials used. So travel. Walk into these spaces. See how you can make them the ideal for you.
Okay, and it's also nice to always deal with experts, because at least that way, because cheap is expensive in the long run. You want to pay for something and have it for a while, right? Have
it for a while, and who knows, you might end up becoming an expert. I mean, I don't consider myself to be a design expert. I just enjoy designs. I leave the design experts to advise me. I mean, before I came onto the show, I had a banter with one of the designers who come on the show, and I learned something very, very interesting. Did you know that you're not supposed to construct a swimming pool in the path of the sunlight?
How come?
Here's the thing. Let's assume this is your swimming pool, or let me have a good color. Let's assume this is your swimming pool. This is your length, this is your width. And then the sun is rising from this side, the east, and sets in the west. Did you know you're not supposed to build your swimming pool in the path of the light?
How come?
Here's the reason. If you build your swimming pool in the path of the light, say the sun is rising from the east and sets on the west, you're doing your laps from, say, one corner to the other. With time, you might end up damaging your iris, and I mean that's your eye iris, because you're swimming you're swimming towards the light, and there's that light reflection on the water,
surface,
on the surface of the water, and that can damage your eyesight. So experts tell me that it's wise to build your swimming pool or set up your swimming pool across.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of guys now with that tip, anytime they go swimming, they'll be checking.
Yeah.
How exactly is this pool built?
How is this pool built?
And on that, this morning, you have quite an interesting tip that we have for our viewers, something very special. Yeah, and it actually has to do with a kifagio. Unajua ile kifagio, the one that a lot of us grew up seeing our moms, our grandmothers using this kifagio, and you have it. So Tim is actually, I've given him the license to take my set apart for just a minute, right? And he'll show you how you can duplicate something that we have on here, and it's a very simple do-it-yourself tip. So Tim?
Well, let's go for it. But before I move to the next step.
You have to appreciate that first before you take it apart. Let's appreciate
Let's
that.
appreciate it for what it is. I mean, the vase costed you how much?
I cannot quote.
An arm and a leg. Okay, fine. Does the vase come with this?
I think
this piece of decoration.
Yes, they come together.
Okay, so it might cost you a lot of money. You think so?
Can I hold those because they cost a lot of money?
They cost a lot of money. Yes, you're going to hold it. And look at the colors. It's black and white, right?
Yes, it is very beautiful. Actually.
Now, what happens if you move to another room that has a different color, say yellow, red, or you want to have something that is close to the colors in your room? What do you do?
I'd say do away with this. Go buy the red ones and put them in the vase.
Yeah, then it's going to cost you another 2,000, 3,000 bob.
Yeah.
And you don't have that 2,000, 3,000 bob.
No.
But now,
okay, I'll hold
it right there. I've got a tip for you.
Yeah.
Have a look at this.
That's a kifagio. That costs like, is it 50 shillings?
A kifagio is only...
Kiosk or duka, they have this.
It's only 50 shillings, and you can replace this with this.
Let me hold them both up so people can see how similar they look.
They're similar, only that one's got beads, the other one doesn't have. And I mean, if you've got time, you can accessorize it by adding the beads on your free time. So what I'm going to do is very, very simple. Take this kifagio, this broom, rip it apart. Sorry, there you are.
Mintoa blada.
Toa blada.
And boom, there you go, and it works.
And it works.
Wow.
You tell me your room is what, brown in color?
Brown in color.
Brown, beige in color. There you have it. Of course, you have to
make it look good. Give it that
extra edge, and then place it in the path of the light, and then you can see the reflection on the ground. Or alternatively, you can use your...
That is spray paint.
Spray paint.
How simple is that?
Spray paint and paint your
broom.
Your broom.
And it's white. It looks exactly like what we have here.
Well, that's color white.
I am so going to do this weekend.
There you are. Did you know you can do that?
Oh. I didn't know you can do that. That's actually what they did.
I'm assuming this is a bachelor's house with a zebra carpet, and he's got black curtains. So, Mr. Bachelor Man, here's a tip for you.
Very simple. Do it yourself.
Very simple. And we can take color black. Let me just do that very quickly.
Yeah.
So this could go. There you are. It's a black there. Spots. Can put a spots. Leave it to dry. Vavavoom.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the broom was 50 shillings?
Broom was 50 shillings.
And this you can use for quite a while.
You can use it for quite a while.
So if it fades, or if you feel like you need a different thing going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
A very simple tip. Do it yourself.
Very simple tip. Do it yourself. These are things you don't have to go to the big supermarkets or get an interior designer who's going to charge you an arm and a leg.
Like you.
No. I don't charge. I just put the program on air and people can see all these ideas. It's something very, 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 very simple. in your
Well, thank you very much,
in
Tim.
your house.
That is just simply, I think that is amazing. That blew me away, because if you look at this and if you look at that, it's the same effect. Yeah, and
It's
I
the
think the
same
cameras
effect.
are just zooming in on that. It's the same effect. You really can't. If you had seen that in the morning, you would have assumed that that's what has always been there. But
Right.
looking at it right now, it's just, it was a broom. It was formerly a broom.
It was formerly a broom, and vavavoom. There you
It's
have
really,
it.
really nice. Well,
Very
Tim,
simple.
thank you very much for coming on the show this morning and
Thank
showing
you
us those
very-
fantastic tips. And I'm just going to let you roll with it. Tell guys where they can catch you for more amazing tips like this ones every Saturday on KTN.
Well, the program runs every Saturday. Six o'clock. I know there's a promotion running on KTN, Jicheki na Standard.
Yes.
So that comes at around 6:15. So usually the ideal space is meant to start at 6 o'clock, but now it starts at 5:45. You should be around the living room or around your space with a bag of popcorns, ready to watch the space, and we'll give you the grand ideas. We'll give you grand spaces. We will tell you why that house you've moved into or that house you already bought, how you can play around with, say, the colors. You can play around with the materials. You can play around with. You can have your do-it-yourself tips. You can do so much in the space that you're in to just make it the ideal, and then we'll let you now explore, because we believe that exploring is achieving.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much. So, and I also believe that exploring is achieving. And right there, you've seen how you can achieve that simple look just by buying a kifagio. So there you had it from Tim every Saturday at 6:05 only on KTN. You can catch up with him, see what's been happening in the world of design and how you can incorporate that into your own personal space. So thank you very much for hanging out with me and Tim. Right
Thank
now,
you.
we have to take a short commercial break. We'll be right back.